Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yesterday we started with Dataproc. In that, Dataproc is the base model, and then another model is cluster model and batches model. Batches model is serverless, which everything will be controlled by Google itself, GCP, and the cluster where we have to assign. And once we do the clustering, and it is in the platform of Hadoop and Spark. This is the distributed computing platform, and that has got its own language and script, and we'll see how we can handle distributed computing system for our data set. So once we create the cluster, then it will have master nodes, and then it will have the worker nodes. Master node will be one, worker nodes will be many. Okay, this is what you can say. Master node is always one, and it may be maybe maybe 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus. But when we are doing this, then we have to have compute engine onto it. See, this is the best way to remember the entire architecture and the flow. Then it is very easy for you to execute. That's what I'm trying to do it. And this is the best way. And then to do this, if you want to do this, and this is the place where you want to have this. This is the place. Once you do in send to bake, and I will change the color so that it will be very interesting for us. Or yeah, it looks good, or this one looks good. Okay, this is fine. Okay, this is fine, right? This is what we are going to do in Dataproc, and then to handle this, we need compute engine. Yesterday we have seen compute engine. In compute engine, we can create the VM instances. VM instances means it will the computing
This
server,
meeting is being recorded.
server, server, or other systems. Okay. So once we do this, this is for the beginning. I will make one more slide. I'm doing it in front of you so that you can.
Sir,
Yeah,
your screen is not visible and voice is also low.
my screen is not visible.
Yes. Shilpa, is it visible for you?
No.
Then my God, you, you would have told. Now, is it visible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Ah. Okay, so yesterday we started the data proc, and in that data proc is the base model, and cluster model is another model, and batches model is another model of this data proc. Data proc is a place platform where it is empowered with Hadoop and Spark. Hadoop and Spark are best for the computing platform, and which is distributed computing platform. It will distribute and then compute all at a time parallelly, and can execution will be more faster, and very big data can also be handled here on this platform. And when we're creating cluster, we are considering this cluster model now. Okay, batch models and data prop, we're not doing it. Cluster model, and when we're creating, we have to create the cluster model. When we are going to create the cluster model, on the top of this Hadoop and Spark, it will create the master nodes and worker nodes. That means it will do some kind of computing power on the top of these two, and which will be done by compute engine. Master node is one, is a teacher, and worker node will be the students. This is how the processing will happen. The instruction will go from master and worker node will execute, something like that. But these master nodes and worker nodes are the computing system empowered with the computing system, and computing system is now assigning these worker nodes and master node using VM instances. And yesterday we have seen VM instances are nothing but the computing server other systems. We can make the server. We have made some kind of VM instances, and where we have assigned the number of CPUs, RAM, capacity, its operating system, all that you have seen yesterday. That means it's creating server itself in the compute engine to execute the data on the platform of Hadoop and Spark with the technology architecture of master and node concept. Right? Is it clear to you? If it is clear, then only you will be able to apply and do it immediately. After 10 days you will be in a position to start working on this. Not 10 days, another 4 5 days at the beginning. Have you understood this? That is very important. Yes or no?
Yes.
If you have
Yes,
not
sir.
understood, if you have not understood, tell me why you are not understanding. Where is the problem? Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if I have to do this, so in this case, to if I have to do this, then I have to assign one here. I have to assign one service account, right? Yes or no? The service account will manage all those resources. That is the process of GCP, in fact. So service account is different from our user account. I have logged in using my email ID. Yes, that is I'm the owner. But now when I'm doing this kind of operation or I'm developing some application, you have to assign some service account. Okay. And then service account, once it is done, then I have to assign the platform for storage where I can, or I can say data lake. You now, for simplicity, you make it a storage where I can upload my data, and then I will see this is what my data set, and data set will have data where I'll be uploading the data set. I'll take one example of data set, uploading to the storage. But in the storage, what we are doing it is in a storage itself, I am creating buckets. I'm creating buckets. And also under this bucket, I'm creating folders. Folders. And then when I'm storing the file, that will be called blob. BLOB blob. File level is blob. Folders is folder. Then I am putting my data set into this folder. So my storage is that, bucket is that, folder is there, and I'm putting my data set, and the data set is there inside the folder. The data, how data is coming, this time I'm uploading one data set to bucket. How the streaming data will come or other big data will come, that is another part which we'll see at the end. But data is there now. I have to process it. Okay, that is what I'm going to do. Now the service account has to enable for this, and it has to be enabled for this, and service account is the resource account. He's the master. So what I have to do is that I have to empower the service account with some kind of permissions, right? Or roles. I have to do some kind of roles to assign some roles or permissions. Once I assign this, then it will work for this. As I already told, service account, you assign the role only to the extent of its capabilities. What resources we are using here? Now you tell me what kind of resources we are using. You have to explain me, then only we'll go to the next. Otherwise, there is no point of going to the next slide. This is very important, and we can do the practicals immediately. Can you explain one by one? Yes, come on. Just explain me. What is your understanding on this? Yes? Come on, Silpa and Hamida. What is that stopping you? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible. What's the question?
What is this model? Please explain me. Then only I'll go to the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Dataproc is one of the GCP service that manage cluster and batch model,
Yeah.
and cluster cluster
Batch
is
model is
actually,
serverless, which is managed by GCP, but we are not considering that.
yeah.
We are considering cluster model, where cluster model we are considering. Then,
Um,
yeah, what is that? It is clearly written.
and master model is
No,
a
no,
kind of
cluster model, a cluster platform is empowered with Hadoop and Spark. Hadoop is one also application. Spark is
yeah.
also application platform. I can say Hadoop is a platform. Spark is also a very big platform. These two, these two are very important. These two you are going to learn. There is nothing that we are going to learn apart from this. So
Okay.
this cluster model is, when creating it is, our data pro is itself is empowered with the Hadoop and Spark platform, which is for distributed data processing system. And that is the
Data.
model where it can handle big data, large data, and it will process parallelly, and it will distribute itself and process simultaneously to achieve more result in less time. Okay.
Will there be any difference between Hadoop and Spark? Means why they are separated if they
uh,
have same working
Hadoop,
and Spark?
see, Hadoop is completely distributed computing system, and it will only process it, right?
Hmm. Both are used for data processing, right?
Yeah, but Spark, what Spark will do, Spark will orchestrate the entire thing.
Mhm.
Spark will, we will come to know how it is. It's a very good question. Hadoop is the completely data distribution of data set and then a processing of it. But Spark on itself will orchestrate the entire operations. How it is that we'll see later. Okay. Then cluster, then it will create master nodes and worker nodes. Master node is one, worker nodes will be one plus. We can keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on our data set or the load that we are going to put, we can choose. But that is empowered with compute engine. Compute engine will provide as VM instances, computing server, And this computing server VM instances will be assigned to master node 1 and worker nodes 1 plus or whatever nodes we have. That means our platform is ready. Once the platform is ready, I have to make somebody to manage this. So service account is the account that I have to create. I give some role and permission which will be responsible to ensure that all operations are going. Then I have the storage, I have the bucket and folders, then I have to put my data set, then I start doing the data engineering. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Both of you?
Yes. But Spark is more, we can say, faster than Hadoop, as I know.
Yes. See, both, even though both they will have some kind of linkage, and the Spark is completely Java based. Okay. And Hadoop is a platform only for the data distributed data processing, but Spark will orchestrate it. Spark will mechanize it, and it has got its own system. It will create in create in a different way that we'll see later. That is the Spark query when we put, and that query will be different. Uh, and that is more powerful, as you said. That is what we'll see how it is. But if you have understood this, then only we'll go to the next. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the base model.
Um,
So, what is that master node? So, master manages the cluster, runs cluster management service like Yarn. Yarn is the service once again inside this Hadoop to manage this. This is Yarn. You will see that like Yarn, and one service inside this Hadoop that it will manage everything. A resource manager, file high density file system, name nodes, Spark master related control function. These all are the services which will be used in the master node. Of course, it is empowered by Hadoop and Spark, and we'll see where it is used and how it is used one by one. Coordinates jobs submitted to the cluster. In a normal cluster, this is usually one master by default. For high availability data could support three masters. It is very dynamic and very high. Maybe I don't know who all will be using, but one node, one master is sufficient with multiple nodes. But if it is required, then you can go for three masters. But I never seen anyone is using. Maybe Google itself will be using three masters. We'll see that. But worker nodes, you can have multiple. What worker node will do? This is what the master will store, and this is what the responsibility of the master node. Master node is nothing but our VM services empowered with operating system, and then all the services of Hadoop and Spark. It's all linked. It's all linked. Worker nodes will execute Spark, Hadoop, Hive, or other data processing tasks. Store HDFC data in standard cluster. Scale out the cluster's compute and storage capacity. You can increase or decrease worker count later for scaling. What do you mean by this? This is very important part of it. This is what very important. Well, let me find where I have the other slides. Okay, we'll see later, no problem. Or maybe somewhere I have stored it. It is 4, 5. This we have completed. I am data processing 4. We are running it. Okay. Then 5 also we are running this. Okay. Might be 6 will be the slide. Yeah, this will be the slide. Okay. Okay. So now I'm saying, so worker nodes will have the execute Spark, Hadoop pipes and other data processing tasks. Stores HDFC data in standard cluster. Scales out cluster. Who can explain this? You have to tell me, then only I'll go to the next. Otherwise, there is no point of going to the next. If you have not understood, then you ask me what you have not understood. Please.
Sir, what is HDFS?
High density file system. What you have understood from this? How are you relating this with this now? How you are relating? Maybe I'll put it here. What do you mean by this master node? Just tell me intuitively what you have understood. Because this is very important. Yeah. Or should I explain you so that you will come to know once again? This is the master node I told you. This is the worker node. And this is empowered with compute engine. And compute engine has provided VM instances for master node and for worker nodes. VM instances means computing server and other systems that were assigned. If I am putting master node 1, computer worker node 1 plus or 2, say 2, I am putting here 2, then you can see in compute engine, you can see VM instances are created 3. 3 VM instances will be created automatically, 1 for master and 2 for nodes. And these all are empowered with some services of Hadoop and Spark, which is listed here. This is the work of master node and this is the work of worker node. So here it's saying it's manage the cluster, management of the cluster like YARN services, HDFC name mode, Spark master related control function, resource manager, coordinate job submitted to the cluster. All these are data engineering, data processing. Think of data processing. Various data processing is being done here. In normal case, suppose you have a small office, 2% are working. If you empower another 4-5%, your efficiency will increase and you can go, diversification will be there and you can cater to different verticals. So same thing is happening in the master node, empowered with so many operations, services, and whenever it is required, you can facilitate all the services to manage the big data and distribution of the data is there for processing. But at the same time, what worker node will do? What is our objective? Why we are earning data engineering? What is the objective? Yeah, you have to interactive with, it should be interactive. What is the objective? Objective is that we have to process the data and transport to say different analytical platform like BigQuery and analyze that and then give to the dashboard. This is what you told at the day one. So when the data is processed, all this management is being done at the master node. Worker node, why it is doing execute Spark, Hadoop, Hive, and other data processing tasks? This is my worry. What do you mean by this? That mean, this mean, see carefully, this is going to very interesting subject. That mean I have one more service, or I will insert a table, it's better. Or task. Okay. So I will have the task say Hadoop can assign some task. Spark can assign some task. PySpark. Somebody has to give the task, then only this entire thing will happen, process will happen on the data set. This is my data set. This is my data set. Hadoop, or I can have Hive, I can have Peak, and I may have Spark R. Okay, these are the options are there. These are the they have its own script languages. PySpark is the Python Spark. We will be using Python code which will interact with the Spark, but Spark has its own scripting, its own code process. But to interact with the Spark, Python has some process in Python to interact with Spark based data, and that is what it is called the PySpark. The code will interact with Spark because Spark is based on Java. It's completely no, sorry, it is the code used by uh, the Spark Scala. Okay, it is a Scala, right? Scala code will have this PySpark will have the feasibility of interacting with the Spark methods, which is built by Scala, to interact with your data here in this environment. This is what the environment we have created here. And this operation will be done by your work node. Is it clear to you now, all of you? When you are going,
So,
yeah,
so it is basically a master nodes will decide the what task is, and worker in worker node we will do the actual task. Uh,
exactly. Fantastic. Yes, very clear. And we'll have to choose whether I should assign the task using Hadoop or Spark or a PySpark, Hive, Pig, Sparker.
mhm.
That options will be there. We'll have to submit the job, and the data is already there that I have uploaded here. And this system will take the data automatically from this data from storage, and whatever task you have given, it will give the output. Over your
And
data.
what we are using Hadoop or Spark, that is also decided by the master node, right?
If I'm using Spark,
Mm.
and if I'm using the Spark task, then it will be assigned by the Spark. If I'm using the Hadoop, it will be based on the Hadoop. Maybe Hadoop can operate both the things, Spark and Hadoop. And when I'm going for Spark, it will give the task and it will be operated by the Hadoop and Spark simultaneously. I will see the difference between this Hadoop and Spark later. But understand, as you said, the master will operate everything. Node will have the script task operating on it. Even I don't mind putting one connection to this. This connection I can put it. I can make it this. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How we are going to do? We'll do it. Don't worry. So once we have done this master node and worker node, and these are the assignment, and compute engine in GCP yesterday we have seen, which will Google's infrastructure as a service offer creating and running compute instance on Google's infrastructure factory. Need to launch virtual machine, choose CPU and all that you have done it, and networking. It's like one computer I'm creating virtually. That's all. Very simple, right? And if I have to see this compute engine, its architecture, and uh, see why this is important, and this is what the architecture of one compute engine, wherever you do. This is what you have to choose the project, where I will take now to the practical aspect of it, and I will go for compute engine. Click on this, okay, and then you can enable this compute engine. Okay, compute engine is there. Compute engine API, I have to see whether compute engine API is enabled or not. Okay, so I have to enable the compute engine API fast. Okay, it is enabling the compute engine API. And in the meantime, I can also go to service account, or I can go to I am service. I am in admin. Okay, this is what I am admin, and I am in services. Okay, let me see compute engine is enabled or not. Now, compute engine is enabled. Okay, it is taking time, but I had disabled it to show you how it is enabling.
यात जरा जास्त वेळ ऑफिसला होते ना.
Compute enable is now enabled. Okay, so if it is enabled, then I will go to compute engine system.
आता एक महिन्याने येईल अजून. एक
Some disturbance is going on.
A.
Uh, yeah. So I enabled the Compute Engine API. Then I came to Compute Engine, and I yesterday I created the instances. Today I'm not going to create because it will be created automatically. Okay, at least we'll complete this task. But before that, we have to know what exactly the Compute Engine and then service account. Then we'll try to create it. Okay, this is the Compute Engine architecture. It's a project. We have already the project. We are in the project. This is the BigQuery project I have. You can also have your project. Machine type, we have used it. And the boot disk, image disk, the operating system that we have given, additional disk also, if you want, you can connect it. Then you can have the networking, which we'll see later. We can have the firewall rules. We can have the IP addresses. I can have the service account for the compute engine and load balancer, managed instances group, and all that will be there. It's like one server machine inside. Okay, this we'll see one by one. So how this is now for your compute engine? This is the internet users are from outside. From You have the system, but people are accessing from outside. Then it will go to the cloud load balancer. Okay, from this load balancer, it will go to GCP project what we have created, or what we have created in VM instances. Then VM instances will have networking, and under that we'll have the subnet. Subnet number should be there, because I cannot spare the IP addresses, one IP address to one system. So I take one IP addresses, public IP addresses, and then I will subnet it so that I can connect number of computers. Okay, this is the public and private IP address. I think you must be knowing it, so I don't have to tell you what is the difference between these two. IP4, IP6, all that you must be aware of it. So compute engine VM instance is connected to your networking. We can enable networking. Then it has got its own CPU, memory, and everything. Then we can convert this to whatever we want. This VM instances, we can load operating system. We have already Ubuntu and a Linux operating system working on the VM instances. We can also choose operating system like Windows or Unix and all those things. So, and it will have the firewall, and then it will have the data disk, it will have the monitoring and logs. Then you can use this for these instances for using the operating system. You can make the cloud SQL server, you can make cloud storage, or you can install BigQuery in this way also. This is for your information and clarity. There is nothing like that. But what is that now we are going to do here? Why we want to, why we are reading all these things? So when we had given this to set up this entire thing, we have already seen storage. We have made the buckets. Now we have seen the compute engine. This is over. This is over, and this also over. Now I will see that now how service account is created and role is assigned. Okay, I will go to service account. This is the service account place, service account place. I will create one service account. I think I have already told you how to create, and this way I have already created one service account in this name. Okay, this is the service account I have created, and you can create service account, right? Both of you? Yes or
Yes,
no?
yes, sir.
Huh. So I have created, which I am demonstrating it. I have given this data proc VASA and data proc with Spark and Hadoop. I have description. It has created service account. I will go to now the permission. So what permissions are given, what roles are given? So if I click on the permission, this manage access. See, suppose you have not created, if you're not going to create this service account and you are trying to create all the storage and data program and all that, it will take the default service account where you won't have any control. Google will manage. So it will be difficult. That's why it's always better to create the service account and then go for processing. I have created this service account, and this is what I have created with all this permission, which I am going to demonstrate here. See, if you can see this in service account, what this you see carefully, then I'll show you. I have given the role to it that this service account can handle BigQuery data edition or editor. It can edit the data of BigQuery. I have given BigQuery data viewer. It can also view the BigQuery data. I have given the BigQuery job user. It can also go for BigQuery job user, means it can execute the jobs which to mean for BigQuery. And also I have given data proc worker role. Okay, this is what I have assigned it to my service account, which you can see from here. And I have given storage object admin to it also. These are the uh, roles I have given. How I have given, I will show you once again for your information. If you tell me yes, then I can go fast. Otherwise, if you don't tell me yes, then I think that you are not able to understand. So I'll keep on repeating it. That is the problem with me. Okay. So if you say yes, we understood, then I will go to the next. How you can give this role? You can, once you have given this, go to the permission. Once you have creating service account is nothing. Create service account. Then it will ask you the name which I have already shown you, and you have given the name, and you can see the details, name of the service account. Now you go to the permission. In permission, okay, permission is given. What permission is given? Manage access. And these are the permission. If I want to add one more permission, you can go to add another role. You click on another role, click on it. What role you want to give, you can see everything in here. Once you type, you will get the options. What role that I want to give. So slowly you come to know about one by one role. But now what roles I have given is that I have given the role that you can manage storage object admin. That means you can manage, you are responsible to manage the resource of storage. You are responsible to manage the data proc worker and master. Data proc worker option we have given. That means it can execute the task. Then I have given the service for BigQuery job user, BigQuery data viewer, and BigQuery data edition. Right? If you want more, slowly you can keep on adding it. It's not it's not there. Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not required. Okay. Then I go to cancel. And other things you forget about it. Now permission I have given, my service account is ready. Now what I will do, I will go and create the cluster. But once you go to the data proc, if you see the data proc, see, you can see the three options: data proc, batch, and clusters. As I told, data proc is the base model. Batch is the serverless model. Cluster is the best model where we can do the practice and small data set can also be handled. And I think your job will get over with these clusters. Batch and data probe, we see that is different, and we see once you learn this, these two will be easy for us. Okay. So I have to choose now the cluster one. I have chosen the cluster one. Okay. Okay. So before that, now I have to enable Cloud Data Probe API, and this is what it's saying to enable the Data Probe API. I'm enabling this Data Probe API in this. Data Probe API is enabled. Now I will go to cluster. See, now the cluster now I have to create. Here it is very, very important to understand. You have the GUI to create it. I can go to create cluster. Okay. And I can give the name. I can use the location. Okay. Say I will choose the location as Asia, Southeast Asia, Asia North, Asia South 1. And zone I can say any. N workers. Standard is one master, N workers. I can choose one master, number of workers, master of workers. Here the single node, one master and zero worker. That means the master itself will work as a master as well as the nodes. And if you want three masters and N worker, high availability, it is not required right now. So we'll go for standard one. And versioning is automatically taken, so no need to do anything. Optimization, enable orbs, all that is not required. Auto scaling is not required. Network in this project is yes, primary is default. You choose the default. Subnetwork is also default. Data probe metadata store is also BigQuery. You enable this. Then here you enable what all the optional components. It has got some components which will by default it will be that. If you need whatever components I told you, all these components, all this, Hadoop, Spark Scala, PySpark, Hive, all that there. If you need something more, then I can go to enable Jupyter Notebook, Hive, where we chat, Zaplin, and Tenio, all those things, most of things I also, yes, Hoodie is required sometimes, Docker is required, Iceberg is required, Delta is required. So all that, if you require, then we enable it. So this cluster is very powerful platform, and then you can go to configure the node, and you can general purpose memory optimize storage optimized, GPUs, if you want GPUs. The more optimization you do, your more account billing will be there. So be careful about that. That's why I'm going for all minimum standard value. Machine type of common workload, optimized for the cost and flexibility is the general purpose. N4 series is fine. And because once I have to create the VM instances. This is what uh, that day we created VM instances in the compute engine. But now when we are creating cluster, I'm assigning these VM instances here so that it will create there automatically. Okay. And standard, I'm choosing everything, primary Ds and all that. We are choosing everything. And then worker nodes also I'm choosing very standard one and the two CPU and all that. So master nodes I created and worker nodes also I have to chosen, and all that is fine. N core is 4, N memory is 4. So total it's a service I told you which will be used by the Hadoop to process it. That's why the service is now option here. And then I can, if you want, you can customize the cluster. You can give the level, cluster property, all that advanced things you will come to know. Then manage security also advanced, which you know. But these two, set up cluster, control nodes, and you can do it. But once you create it, you don't know what is the service account it is attached to it. It will take its own service account. And that is what the big problem for me. So what I do, I can create this. If I create, it will create. But instead of doing this, what I'll do, I prefer do, I will go to Cloud Cell. I'll go to Cloud Cell. See, this is very important. You should do it today only. Cloud Cell, authorize it. I'm authorizing it. Okay, I'm in my project and I'm in my console. Use a simple code for this, which I will also share. This is the code is for creating your service account, but we have created in GUI. And if you want, I will share this thing. You can create it in code, but we'll see later. No problem. And this is what the code I have to execute. So whatever GUI here I have done it so far, everything will be done automatically in this line. This is very, very important. See, now I'll tell you code what exactly it is explaining. He's saying Google Cloud Data Pro, create the clusters. Create cluster name is this. Cluster 8BE6. You can also give your own name, no problem. Here you can change. You can delete it and change. But I don't want to delete the option. Is saying you hyphen, then region you assign South Asia South and backslash. Then you create the zone Asia South 1B. What you have seen in GUI, same thing we're writing here. Once you have written it, it will be stored permanently. You can keep on deleting your that cluster and create it. But if you're doing it in GUI, you cannot practice it. You have to spend a lot of time to create and delete, create, delete. So you write this code, which I will share right now. But here you have to change as per your region, as per your zone. Then here I'm assigning service account because I have created service account and I have given my permission and I'm using that ID. This ID. Which ID? Where is my service? Service account. I have, sorry. Okay. I would have opened it. Yes, service account. This is what I created, right? and this is what you can copy it. If you click copy, you copy it, then come here and paste it here. This is the service account detail. No need to write one by one. Okay. You're saying you create master machine type E2 standard 4, and from GUI you can know which are the names, and you can come here and put these names. That is sufficient. Worker machine E2 standard 4 also. Number of worker we are assigning 2. Image version, that means operating system for these VMs 2.2 Debian 1.2 Linux operating system. Enable component gateway for networking for the future. Gateway. Okay, without gateway you won't be able to connect to the outside. Optional component, I am putting Jupyter as enable for Jupyter, no, for your processing, language processing, Jupyter. This is my very simple cluster creation using, and I will take it. Yeah, I will take this, copy this, copy this. I will come to you. I will come here and see. Now I tell you there is no cluster. Can you see any cluster here? There is no cluster. Nothing is that. We tried GUI, but we thought no, GUI is okay. We can do it. And I want to show you compute engine. Compute engine. In this compute engine, you can see the VM instances. VM instances. Can you see any VM instances right now? There is no VM instances. It's 0 now because we have not done it. We can do it GUI, but it will take a lot of time. Creating 3 VMs, then creating one for master, one for standard. How much time it will take? But we can create it. But there is no VM here, and there is also no cluster here. There is no cluster. But now I'm executing this code. I'm copying it and I'll paste it here all together. Okay. Then I will enter it. See the magic. And now it is processing. Read this. While processing, you read this. What is warning? Okay, fine. CSTD cloud, google.com storage doc, uniform bucket, level access, specify customer, staging bucket, data proc, staging SS out, is not using uniform bucket level access, IAM configuration. It is recommended to update bucket to enable the same. Consider using auto zone rather than selecting a zone manually. So whatever we have not done, and it is saying, but these are the only warning, and there is nothing, no error in fact. Operation started, operation is going on. It will take 2-3 minutes time to operate, and then your cluster will be ready. Then once it is ready, I will tell you what to do next. Let that to operate. Let me come and see my things here. This is what, and this is the create new service example. If you want to create service account, you can create in this name which I have given it, and the grant project level role, data pro role you have given. I have given other these are the role I have also given. Yes, so I have written it, and to create this service and what we have created in GUI, this is what the cloud shell command. Okay, you can see the recording and you can follow this. And but why I'm not telling you, because your service account will have different ID. Your project will be, this is my project ID. Your project ID may be different. Okay, so you have to check and do it. Okay, you do this and come up, and if you want, I can save these two codes so that you can complete it. And this is what the same thing, same code what I am executed here. But here I think I have added one thing, uh, initialization action for GS. This is for your Spark actions. This is for your Spark action, which we'll see later. Now I'm doing without Spark action. Okay. And see, this is what we are doing it. Let me see whether it is done or not. Still working, so that we can read something here. When you create a regular data cluster, Hadoop and Spark are included by default. So Yearn comes as part of that install stack. Google describes Dataproc as a managed service for running the Apache Spark and Apache Hadoop ecosystem. This is very important. And its cluster docs refer to the default open source component, including Apache Hadoop and Apache Spark. This is what we have seen. So when we are creating this, what gets activated by default? On a standard Dataproc cluster, the core stack generally include, now we are creating cluster, that means which are the services included, and we are reading it. Hadoop broader ecosystem. This is what I told you, the platform, huge platform. And this is what HDFC high density, you can distributed storage layer also, you can say in the, but its a meaning is high density file system, but we call it as a distributed storage layer. HDFC is a layer, but the internal meaning is this. Okay, distributed, this is the format, the file format, what we used to see in our desktop is I think NTFS network file system, and then some file systems, I don't remember that server system. We used to use some file systems in which format all that registry will be stored, your file system in the operating system will store. But here it is HDFC, which is called distributed storage layer, and which is of this format HDFC. Yearn is resource manager and scheduler in that ecosystem, will be used by your master. These are services. Don't worry for this. Is the, we have to understand this. That nothing to do with this, but you should know what is happening. That is what. And the Spark, the processing engine that can run on cluster and use Yearn for resource allocation. This is what is very important factor for us to run. Yen is not can only be used by the Spark, it can also be used by Hadoop, but in this case, this processing engine that can orchestrating the things or arranging everything, and that means it's processing the entire the operation on the platform of Hadoop, and Hadoop is the entire broader ecosystem where we process our data that can run on the cluster and use Yearn for resource allocation. What is required to operate this data? We'll see slowly. So Google Data Pro Service and Computer Docs on Hadoopian, and properties of the Hadoopian HDFC Spark related property, which indicates these are standard cluster components. These are the standard cluster components, and that we are trying to use. If I go for little bit in depth of it, see, I'll go to in depth. Hadoop is like a big data platform ecosystem. It includes, again, see, HDFC for distributed storage. It includes Yearn for resource management scheduler. It includes MapReduce services for distributed processing. So Hadoop is a larger umbrella. In that case, what is the Spark? Spark is the fast distributed compute engine used for the orchestrating. Is going to manage the entire SOAP. It will have the batch processing. It will have the SQL analytics. It will have the streaming. It will go for machine learning. It can go for graph processing. All that will be done by Spark. And to interact with the Spark, we may use the Spark platform or Spark script, or I may use PySpark, or I may use Hive to use the resources of this. And Spark can run on Kubernetes deployment. Don't worry for this now. So this is your core idea, is that Hadoop is the complete ecosystem. Spark is your processing engine. When to use this? Why we are reading all this? What is the benefit of reading? You should know. Why I'm going for data pro? I would have chosen something else. When to use data pro? You need Spark or Hadoop workloads if you know about it. If you want a managed cluster instead of self-installing Hadoop and Spark, that means cluster will have a segregation of your data processing. And if you want to go for self-installing Hadoop and Spark, it will be very cumbersome to manage your platform. How? We'll see practical, don't worry. And when you need distributed batch processing, if your data set is more and people are querying more, and you want to access a lot of things every time, then you choose Dataflow. And if you want temporary cluster for ETL or analytics purpose, then you use Dataflow. ETL is your pipeline, extra transform and load. How we are going to do, it's very interesting, I'll show you. You need cluster level control over machine types, workers, and optional components. Cluster level means why it is called so many things will be under one cluster. If you want, if you are managing India as a central government, it's a cluster. And if you go to different state and managing individually, it will be very difficult. That's why we have state government, we have the central government. So data pro, you can say, is a kind of central government, and the cluster is related to central government. When you don't want to use a data pro, the workload is very small. If you can do it everything in Excel, why should you go for data pro? If you can do it using Python program and analyze your Excel, why should you go for data pro? Don't do that. Use Python and analyze fast. Small data can be analyzed. Use SQL server and analyze that. This is used only if you have streaming data and very big data size. Don't do that uh, foolish work in front of your boss or anyone. If it is small, why you should know, why should I use? I can use it to very small Python program and do it, or use SQL platform and do it. Small analysis and all that. But when you for a training you can do it. But if you want to really practically in production section you want to do it for a big data, then you go for this. That is what the meaning. You can always use cluster, or you can always use the base batch model of this data pro, which will see different. A serverless tool is simpler. You don't need to Hadoop Spark. Your team cannot manage cluster lifecycle cost control. If the cost is a problem and you don't have the manpower, then don't go for cluster level. You can go for batch model. To use the BI, business intelligence reporting, where BigQuery alone may be easier. That's what I'm saying. When BigQuery is alone itself, it can handle huge database for analysis, which I'll show you. But if that can analyze the huge data set or database, why I need data proc and again Hadoop Spark? It's a foolish state, or foolishness, I will say. So if you have really huge data is coming, then use this. Otherwise, you directly upload everything to your big query, right? If your load is that big, then you use this data for. This is why I told to use case in simple Python data or without distributed model. That's why I told you, if you have Excel sheet and some small analytic, use the Python program, use BigQuery or use some SQL server and execute it and get the analysis. Why you need to data probe? That is what the intelligence you have to demonstrate in front of everything, right? So this is what, and now you come to our operating, whether it is created or not. Let me see. Yeah, it is now created. Created, this is what the created the cluster. You can read it. What I'll do, it is not visible, so I can refresh this. Once I refresh this, your cluster is ready. Once cluster is ready, let me see whether my VM instances are also created or not. See, cluster is ready. Cluster name I have given, started running, region, zone, base image, whatever I've given. So number of worker node 2, flexible VMs, no, scheduled deletion off, stop, cloud storage starting bucket. So for cloud storage, it has taken some service. Staging bucket, cloud storage. Acha, it is taking its to store its metadata and everything. I should tell you later. Then created, when it is created, what is the level I have given? This is the level I have given. Cluster blob, Google Data Pro. These are the levels are there for all that. Okay, levels you can see this. This is what Data Pro. And at the same time, I'll see whether VMs are created or not. It should have created. Let me refresh it and see VMs, two worker nodes and one master and two worker nodes. VM should be created. Created? Recreated? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So how you will come to know which is master, which is uh, worker node? See, cluster M means is master. W0 W1 means worker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so BMs are also created. If you click on this BM, you will come to know, but we'll see later. And you go to cluster, you click on this cluster, then your work platform is now ready. Now I can bring data and processes. How you are going to bring data? I have to go to submit job. Then I have to choose the platform: Hadoop, Spark, Spark-R, PySpark, Hive, Spark SQL, Peak. I will see 1, 2, 3 options and I will select, and then I will select the data file where your data file is. Tomorrow we'll see. Then if I go and submit, it will give the result. How it is processing and giving you the query. Whatever query you are going to access, I'll show you tomorrow. So today we created cluster, and we created it's created its own VMs. And this is what the complete things we have seen. We created service account, roles, permission. You can take the screenshot of this and you start doing it. Tomorrow we'll see how we are going to, we'll upload data here, and all things are ready. Then I will use Hive or PySpark and Spark-R or Spark SQL also there. I'll write it. Spark SQL also there. We use this, and then we'll see how our task is managed, how we are getting output. Where we get the output? We get the output here. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see that. what will happen? This is one pipeline. Your data is going to go to storage, then it will go to cluster, and then it will go to output. These are the two stages, these two stages. But after this, what will do? Then the output will go to your BigQuery. And from BigQuery, it will go to your Looker or wherever you want to do. And then again, we'll come back how this data is coming, how the flow, data flow, where the data flow, whether I am to bring it from HANA or I am to bring from Apache Fusion through. All those are big chapter, and it's amazing. It's really interesting. Is it clear to all of you today?
Yes, sir.
Only one yes I'm seeing. Who is the other one? Silpa? Hamida?
Yes, sir. She sent the reaction thumbs up.
Okay, great. So for this is today, you just see, practice it. Please practice. Otherwise, the moment we get into it, because I also, once I get into it, I will not come back because it's very intrinsic things. I also forget sometimes what to do, how to do. That's why I make it everything ready and demonstrating so that you will not waste your time. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Understanding? You have
Yeah,
clarity
sir.
now?
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. Start practicing and we'll catch up on Monday. Okay? All the best. Thank you. Good night,
Oh,
both of you.
thank you, sir. Good night.